first thing I'd like to do is say thank you to everyone who has shown support, left feedback, or just engaged with this software experience in some way. While it's the end of 2023 now, it's amazing to think all that has happened in just a little over 2 months since I first just put up some free Windows VST3 plugins on the internet for feedback. And the responses from everyone have really filled me with so much extra inspiration and enthusiasm to really drive my motivation to accomplish the goals I hope to achieve. And while the sort of mission statement in all of this could perhaps be considered alluded to through various communications, I thought the end of the year was a good place for a more articulate definition on what it is exactly that's going on. And so that's what I intend to do in this video. And I'll break it up into 3 sections, kind of who I am, why I'm doing this, and what can be expected moving into 2024 and beyond. And there will be chapters for each of those main sections, so feel free to skip if you're not too interested in any of those particular sections. So, who am I? As I've so far introduced myself, and not to be mysterious or elusive, but because my surname is maybe less common, and without an intuitive pronunciation for a lot of folks. And so instead of centering our first meeting around that type of experience, I'd rather just cut to talking about the audio stuff. But here it is, in case you're curious. You may wonder how to say it, and to loosely borrow a joke, I've heard it pronounced a lot of different ways. And the one I'm currently preferring is John. And by doing it like that, it keeps this casual and conversational tone also, because I really do want to personally interact with anyone who feels like reaching out for support, feedback, or just to talk about audio stuff. I'm the only person currently at Circuitry. I do the research, design, coding, graphics, website, support, and email communication. So when you reach out to me, you reach out to all those departments at the same time. No delay. I can respond quickly with meaningful information, straight from the source. And my family pronounces it Zabo, by the way. Okay, so now really who am I? Well, I'm a very logical but also very creative type of person. I've been writing my own applications and coding since I was like 6, pretty much as soon as I could comprehend what a computer was and what it was capable of doing. And I have that same inquisitive nature to just uncover how it all works with audio equipment as well. And this is because music is a very powerful thing to me. I can think of no other single thing that has been as stable and dependable, can always be there and do what I needed to do at that exact moment. And whatever it is, therapy, resonance, inspiration, participation. There's so many aspects that can be used. And I love learning how to make music, how to make things that attempt to have those types of qualities in a way that would feel timelessly impactful. In the ways music has impacted me throughout my life. I play lots of instruments, I do vocals, I write arrangements, mix, master. I've also studied electrical engineering, focusing specifically on how it applies to audio equipment. I want things to sound good, and I want to know why they sound good. And I've been a customer in this industry for decades also, and I think my balanced skill set and life experiences could put me in a unique position with this music software stuff to make products that I would want to use and distribute them fairly in a way that I would want them distributed to me as someone who would be interested in using them. But we already have so much stuff. So now I'd like to look at more of why I'm doing this, and maybe equally as important, why I'm doing this right now. The time is certainly ripe for extremely low prices on great sounding products. I can remember being excited when plugins or upgrades to things I wanted were less than $100, and that was very rare. And while this is often looked at as devaluing with a negative connotation, there is also the positive value-adding component of lowering the barrier for all kinds of people to access great sounding tools. Tools that could really help folks get the sounds they want quickly. Tools that were once locked behind professional level paywalls. And I like this aspect, and that's why I want to offer the same technology I use in forms available to accommodate any situation. But there's still a negative side I see to what's going on currently. While this focus on the race to the bottom, lowest prices in town, remains the primary focus, it seems to be stifling meaningful innovation in favor of buzzword-worthy marketing pizzazz. And too often the real innovators succumb to the same pitfalls the large companies do, where restrictive and cumbersome access and use can make real-world purchases unusable junk because we've lost any sense of what any of this is really about. Making good sounds. And that is my primary focus. We should be innovating in meaningful ways. Our current DSP solutions should not be endgame. And humans will always be better at doing tasks we expect humans to perform. But I don't just want to privatize and monetize my research. I want it to be available to use by as many people as possible, with as little risk and restriction as possible. I just want folks to be inspired to make great sounding audio, great sounding music. And I want to dig deeper with how much quality can be achieved through algorithmic DSP solutions. And the more transactional element is in place to provide a meaningful way for you to support this type of business model, whether by downloading and telling others about it, or getting a few exclusive perks by buying the paid versions. So what does all this mean going forward? First off, there's a couple of things I want to address. When I just put up a couple of ideas for people to check out back in October, I had no expectations that things would move so quickly with the response from people. So the whole operation, while not haphazardly designed, still has some kinks and rough edges to refine. And while I wanted to provide Mac binaries quickly to address the amount of interest I received from day one, I did underestimate a bit, perhaps, any hurdles that would come up in obtaining the credentials for proper code signing ability. And while most of this situation has involved factors outside of my control, I am not making excuses, and I apologize for the delay from me dropping the ball on this. Getting this resolved any way that I can is going to be a paramount priority moving forward, as well as starting to invest in the necessary things to pursue AAX builds. I want you to feel confident that I'm invested into all of this 110%. And while all of this is growing and adapting to the feedback I receive directly from you, there are some changes that need to be implemented to facilitate the customer experience moving forward. So I'll need just a little bit of time to get that completed before going back into the more rapid development. But don't worry, I plan on releasing some new informational content, like the videos on FETs, in the meantime, to give an idea of maybe what concepts could be coming up. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, or sign up to the email newsletter on the website if you're interested in this kind of content. I'm not going anywhere, I'm not going on hiatus, so don't take this that way. A huge complete redesign of QX Comp will be available next month, possibly even before all the back-end changes are in place. And I know that while I made no official announcements on a timetable, I had told several people to expect it by year's end. And not that it got behind schedule, but maybe if you know where the original inspiration came from, you could say an 11th hour rainbow in the dark hit me with the force, drawing me towards its center, and that provided a ton of new design ideas to look at and incorporate. Apologies for the wait, but I do believe this will be worth it, addressing feedback received, refining the user experience, and an incredible amount of new flexibility. So be on the lookout for that here soon. Thanks everyone for your engagement this year, and I look forward to what a full year of all this will bring about.